There we go. Hey there, everybody. Navy Doc 5184 here. Hope you all are having a wonderful Saturday. And thank you for joining me in our discussion for our upcoming tournament fan vote for best guitarist of all time. Voting starts tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And right now on Discord, I'm joined by my brother. He will be discussing the bracket with me. We may have another come in, but no promises. But either which way, looking forward to having a good time with this. There's one thing I do gotta check real quick though. That's what I thought. Yeah, just give me a second. I have to make sure I get my Discord audio set because I don't want it being the same as the desktop. Otherwise, you guys aren't gonna be able to hear them. So let's go ahead. Let me get brother on the line. All right, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Ooh. Wow, okay. Let me turn you down there. I think I had my Discord volume up so much that anybody listening on headphones probably just lost their eardrums. And thanks to the wife, I am able to confirm that sound is good. All right. So I'll turn you up some more. If I see you go in the red again, I'll just adjust the volume. But all righty. So what I'm going to do is turn on some background music.
No, you're not.
Hey, I'm sure it'll make it a lot better than just hearing our ugly voices on this thing. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. I'm gonna switch my screen here. So for those of you watching, as you can see, I've got the bracket up on the screen here, so you guys can take a look at all the matches here. I've done reaction to everybody here except for George Harrison because YouTube apparently does not like us doing Beatles reactions. And always
Boo.
no, that's why I had to go on my community post and just share the video that I was reacting to, just so people could listen to it. Speaking of which, though, considering speaking of the Beatles and everything, happy heavenly birthday to Mr. George Harrison. Today would have been his birthday had he still been with us. So
You
thank you,
know what's
thank you, thank
funny?
you. What's that?
You know what's funny about his birthday?
What's that?
I always got his birthday and mom's birthday mixed up.
And the crazy thing is the main reason that I always remember when mom's birthday is because I always remember that it's 2 days before George Harrison's. So,
Yeah.
mom, if you happen to hear that, I'm sorry. That doesn't mean I don't love you. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of all this. So, match one, which starts tomorrow, Eric Clapton versus Robert Johnson. Ooh, I swear, and I was not happy when I saw that seating because I feel like Robert Johnson would probably be rated a little higher than a 16th seed. I don't know exactly where I would put him, but I'm not gonna lie. Him going right up against Eric Clapton, I mean, I myself don't know who I personally would vote for, but I easily see Eric Clapton beating Robert Johnson. What do you think?
I mean, I think the problem is like Robert Johnson's so old school. Like he's not as well known as Eric Clapton.
Right,
But
and
I think another thing for between Robert Johnson and Eric Clapton is Eric Clapton seems to have bigger range because he does faster or slower music, with the guitar,
right,
where
uh,
Robert Johnson's kind of stuck in the blues category.
right. Christy, to answer your question, no, it's just Bobby on right now. We honestly don't know if Eric is going to be on just because, I mean, as you know, he's still recovering from COVID, so he may show up later. We don't know. It just really depends on how long this goes, but, we're not going to force him into anything, but yeah. But to your point, Bobby, um, I mean, I would probably have to agree with everything you just said there. I mean, I do think Eric is, I guess you could say, more rounded than Robert Johnson is, and the fact that all of Robert Johnson's stuff was done in the 30s, and it's just Delta blues. In all honesty, I would imagine most
Yeah.
people who are watching, voting in this tournament, I wouldn't be surprised if only me, you, and maybe a couple other people even know who Robert Johnson is. So, I mean, and honestly, would we even know who he was if it wasn't for Crossroads?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I would have if it hadn't
I
been for Crossroads.
Yeah, I know I wouldn't have, which is a
But
shame too, though, because if you actually listen, and that was one of the things I pointed out in my reaction video to Crossroads, is there are points where it sounds like where it sounds like there are two guitars playing at the same time, but I think it's just because his fingers are so long. It's like he can, do so many things with it, and it's probably just, Robert Johnson was just probably way ahead of his time, but I mean, in terms of well-roundedness and I guess you could say notoriety, being well known, I think this is probably going to be a pretty chalk win. I think Eric wins this one easy.
yeah, I do too. And I think that's the thing when it comes to brackets. A lot of people kind of misconstrue like if they don't get out of the first round that they're bad. It's like no, they're not bad. It's just
Sometimes it's just
it's
matchup.
just a bad matchup. It's just
Yeah.
a bad matchup.
This is a perfect example of just being in a bad matchup, because I mean there's maybe a couple people on here that I think Robert Johnson could have probably beaten, but then again, he is probably the least known guitar player on this list.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
So, all right, so as of right now, we got Eric Clapton moving on to the second round. So then match 2 we're going to have is going to be Jimmy Page versus Jerry Garcia. Now, this one I think is probably going to be a closer match, because based off of the reactions and engagement I've gotten from these reaction videos I did from them, I would say they're probably equal, though I think Jimmy Page might win this one. I will say this. Like, I've only heard a couple Led Zeppelin songs, and the one I reacted to really blew my mind. I did not know Jimmy Page could play the guitar the way he does.
I think for me, yeah. I mean, I know them both probably around the same level, like same. What's the word I'm looking for? Like the same amount of stuff. I know
Like, you've had
them from.
about the same amount of exposure for one as you have with the other.
Yeah, but I think I mean I would give my nod to Jimmy Page as well, because the one thing I haven't seen from Jerry Garcia is him doing any solo stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's
And
one of the
not-
things. What was
Not
that?
to say that he did. I'm not saying not to say he didn't do anything solo, but it's like I've watched Jimmy Page doing a solo guitar moment. It's just like holy crap.
Yeah, and it blew me away. Like I already forgot the name of the song. Like, When I Was Loving You or something like that. Like, I did not know Led Zeppelin, did like blues style like that. That was really impressive. That really impressed me. And let me just say that my impression of Jimmy Page as a guitarist changed with that reaction, because most of the stuff outside of Stairway to Heaven, I'm just used to, like their, harder rock type stuff. So to hear him, do blues and do it the way he did, like, thoroughly shocked me and impressed me. So,
Oh yeah.
and Jerry Garcia, I mean, I really haven't heard much Grateful Dead, so I really, was unable to really give any good impression of that. Though I did get a lot of good suggestions from people on some good Grateful Dead stuff to kind of get more exposed to them. But unfortunately, in the meantime, based off just what I know, I would probably move Jimmy ahead of Jerry. But I have a feeling, though, that this might be a little close, definitely a lot closer than Eric Clapton and Robert Johnson.
Well, I think that's the thing. Is like with Jimmy Page and Jerry Garcia, it's the slight advantage that Jimmy had is that we have solo of him.
Right. I mean, and there probably is stuff maybe for Grateful Dead. I just haven't been exposed to it.
Yeah, but I mean, if we get that, then it's like, yeah, it might flip. Like we might end up choosing Jerry over Jimmy.
Exactly. So it is one of those things where it could be either or. But I mean, for me, and it sounds like for you too, the one thing that Jimmy has is we're just exposed to more of his stuff. So it's a lot easier for us to vote for him.
Yeah. I
So
mean, it sure as hell ain't like the last match with Eric Clapton and Robert Johnson.
yeah, I mean that one. And the crazy thing is that match isn't even the one that I think is going to be the biggest blowout. I think that'll be match 4, which we'll get to in a little bit. But I think we both can agree that match 2 is gonna probably go to Jimmy Page, and
Yeah.
Jimmy Page will move on to round 2. So let's go
Yeah.
ahead and go on to match 3, which is Pete Townsend, guitarist of The Who, versus Eddie Van Halen. Okay, I take that back. This one's probably gonna be as good as Pete Townsend was in the song I heard. I think Eddie Van Halen wipes the floor with Pete Townsend.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing. It's a little bit of the same thing with Eric Clapton and Robert Johnson, just on a smaller scale. Where the sample size that we have with Eddie Van Halen as a guitarist is we have far more of that than Pete Townsend.
Yeah, but I mean, anybody who knows guitar play, it's like Eddie Van Halen is just one of those guitarists, though, where if someone asks you to name top 10, Eddie is always one of the first people that will come to your mind. Whether he's near the top or, say, near number 10, he's always, like right on there. Like, and that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to do this list through random.org, because I know some of these seedings, I'm like, there is no way I would see them there. Like, you honestly mean to tell me that out of 16 people, Eddie Van Halen is 14?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there ain't no way. There ain't no way.
I mean, there's some seating that I do definitely find questionable.
Yeah, but like I said, that's just why I just went to random.org. My hands are clean of all controversy. So I guess this is technically, by seeding, will probably be the first quote unquote upset in the tournament, because Pete Townsend, at number 3 seed. Now, granted, after I heard the song, it was Young Man Blues by The Who, he actually got some pretty good skills too, so I can definitely see why people suggested that he be in this tournament, though I would have definitely had him ranked in the lower half. Like maybe 12, 13 maybe?
Yeah.
I don't think I would have had him at number 3.
Oh, no. That definitely, I wouldn't have him at number 3.
Yeah, so, but I mean, I think anyone who is, and I say objective, guitar listening person, it's like, I don't see how you could vote Eddie Van Halen vote Pete Townsend over Eddie Van Halen. But then again, that's kind of the beauty of like these fan vote tournaments, is because it is a lot based off of, who know, who you've heard. Because maybe, people who are big Who fans, maybe they haven't heard much of Eddie Van Halen, so maybe they'll vote Pete Townsend, and all that. Which actually, and that's why I really appreciate somebody, when I first announced doing this, her name was Ruth, suggested I do reaction videos to everybody in the tournament, because, if they haven't heard them before, and then it's like, that's a brilliant idea, and I hate the fact that I didn't come up with that idea myself.
Well, and then a lot of times, though, with a lot of like brackets and stuff with her people, it mostly comes down to popularity with some people.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a very good example of that is the very first Van Vote tournament I did. And in the finals, it was Angelina Jordan versus Freddie Mercury. And Angelina Jordan won. Now, I myself, having heard a lot of Angelina Jordan and been really exposed to her by then, I wasn't really upset with it, but I can tell you what, there's probably a lot of Queen fans who saw that who were not happy with that result. But, if you listen to that girl sing, she definitely deserved to at least be in the finals. So, whether she won or lost on that one, she deserved to be in the finals.
Oh, yeah.
And all that. Especially being so young, being 16. And, good Lord almighty, that girl's got some pipes.
Oh, yeah, no, right?
Yep. So I think we are able to agree that match 3 goes to Eddie Van Halen, and what will be most likely our first quote unquote upset of the tournament. Match 4, which is the one I thought initially was going to probably be the first, I guess you say upset / wipeout, but Eddie Van Halen proved otherwise. We got Neil Young at the number 4 seed versus number 13 seed Prince.
Oh, I already know what mine's Prince.
There's no way. I mean, I didn't even know
Well,
Neil Young was even considered like a top guitarist. Like I've heard of Neil Young. I didn't even know he was in Buffalo Springfield until I started trying to search for stuff for him to react
uh,
to. And I do admit, when I actually started listening for the guitar, it was okay. But I mean, this is Prince we're talking about. What more
yeah.
needs to be said?
Well, the things I look at too with it is not only just like the things I look at is kind of like the level of their popularity. That counts what my mindset, like their skill level, and then the memorable like performances. And I'm sorry, Prince just has a crap ton
He
more
has all of
memorable
those checked
performances.
multiple times. I mean, did we say anything more than what year was it? 2007, whatever that Super Bowl halftime show he did.
Well, yeah. I think what really helped with that was the fact it started raining and he
Yeah,
was
that's what
playing
I'm
Purple
saying. I
Rain.
mean, just
But I mean, not only that though, but when he did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
and that's actually the one I reacted to because there's so much Prince stuff that you can react to, but that was actually the one I reacted to for this was that solo for While My Guitar
Yep.
Gently Weeps because I mean he owned that
Yeah, he
song.
did.
I mean, it's
Well,
like ugh.
I think too. And I mean, on the case of Purple Rain, it's not even just the Super Bowl performance. It's just the song, the guitar solo, and the song in general.
Oh yeah. I mean, and really, if you go through all of Prince, I mean, I can't even tell you how many times, like, I have changed my mind on what my favorite Prince guitar solo was.
I know, right?
Because first it'd be Purple Rain, then it might be Let's Go Crazy, and then there was a point where it was like, oh no, Gold wins, and then it'd be like, oh, but you got his Purple Rain solo from the Super Bowl, then you got the Hall of Fame one, and then there's like other ones where like his solo from the song Holy River I thought was great. It's like every time I ever ask myself that question on what my favorite Prince guitar solo is, it feels like it changes.
Yeah,
And it's
and
amazing how it could be so many different songs before you kind of circle back to what your original was,
yeah, and this is the one like when you talk about the org putting the rankings, it's like I don't see how they could have put Prince at 13.
Well, I mean that's the whole thing. It's just random.
Yeah, no,
I
but I
mean,
mean it's just like
I just put the list on there and put it in. I just haven't put it in a random order. But again, that's why it's just like there's no way I'm doing this because that's gonna obviously there's gonna be plenty of controversy because then I am not gonna have my hands dirtied from that controversy.
oh no, right?
I will let the AI take the brunt of that because Lord, oh Lord, you know how passionate some fans can be.
Oh yeah,
I mean, there's
ain't
probably
that
people who are upset that Prince isn't number one seed compared to Eric Clapton, though. I think Eric Clapton is a deserving one seed. I mean, I don't know if I would have put Eric Clapton as number one, but
yeah. I'm about to say.
I can't complain that he's number one.
I'm about to say. For me, it's like if anybody puts him at number one, I wouldn't throw a fit. But it's like me personally, I wouldn't but put Eric Clapton ranked in one.
Yeah, so yeah, because that's one. It's just kind of like, ugh. But yeah, so I'd say matches 3 and 4 are pretty much wipes. I mean, Eddie Van Halen I think takes Pete Townsend easy. Prince definitely takes Neil Young easy.
Oh yeah.
There's not even really any real point of discussion on that one if you ask me.
Yeah.
All right, so now we are on match number 5, which actually might be more of an interesting battle than I initially thought after hearing his guitar solo from Sultans of Swing. But we got Stevie Ray Vaughan at number 5 seed versus Mark Knopfler. So he's the guitarist from Dire Straits. And originally, I was thinking that this was probably going to be a wipe. But then after I did that reaction to his solo from Sultans of Swing in Sydney, I'm like, okay, this guy is a lot better than I thought. And people were letting me know. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I still got to go with Stevie Ray on this one.
The thing that I think I picked Stevie Ray Vaughan is just the popularity. He's just a little more popular than Mark.
'Cause I think he is definitely more well known amongst the casual music fans, and I think that would give Stevie Ray Vaughan the edge. Now,
Yeah.
if you are like say a really big like say aficionado, like music or guitar playing aficionado, then that is where you could really see Mark Knopfler being a decent
Yeah.
matchup
Well,
against Stevie Ray Vaughan. Like I said, after I heard that, I did that reaction, like I went from thinking that that was going to be a wipe to okay, this one might be a better battle than I thought, but I
Yeah.
still say Stevie Ray wins pretty good.
Yeah.
I won't say he wipes the floor with Mark, but
No,
it'll
I
be a
think
closer.
this one's closer than you think because, like you said, I mean, music aficionados might choose Mark, but I mean, when it comes to popularity, but the thing is, it's like you have music aficionados and casual listeners know who Stevie Ray Vaughan is.
Exactly, and I think that's what gives Stevie the edge. Is it's going to be the casual music fans who know who Stevie Ray Vaughan is, whereas if they just see the name Mark Knopfler, they might not know who he is. But then once they learn, like he's the guy from Dire Straits, that might help. But again, you know, it's the casual fans here that are probably going to really make the difference in this vote.
Yeah.
Like I won't say this is. I don't think this is going to be the closest battle. I think the number 8 seed, 9 seed, when we get that, is going to be the closest. But this one will probably be a pretty decent one. This will probably be. I would probably rank this close to the battle between Jimmy Page and Jerry Garcia in terms of how close it will be. But I give Stevie Ray Vaughan the edge on this one.
Yep. Yeah, I give him the slight edge as well.
Yeah, and it might, and really that might be slight. Speaking of slight, our next battle might actually be, if not the closest, probably the second closest. 6 seed Keith Richards, 11 seed Brian May. Good Lord Almighty, that one's gonna be a fun vote to watch.
Brian May, where was he from again?
He's the guitar player from Queen.
That's what I thought. This one's actually not hard for me.
I mean, I'm voting for Brian May, but this is the one, though, where, I mean, aficionados will know them both. Casual fans will know them both. I would give Keith Richards the edge in terms of popularity, but I think Brian May has had more memorable, like, guitar solos, guitar riffs. I mean, if you look at Bohemian Rhapsody. Just Bohemian Rhapsody. If nothing else, everybody knows. I guess you could say both guitar solos from Bohemian Rhapsody.
Well, I think for me, it's basically with Keith Richards. Like, I just know him from Rolling Stones. You know.
Yeah.
I don't really know any of his what else, his skill level. Because, I mean, with popularity, you could argue either or, but I would probably argue that Keith Richards is probably a little bit more popular than Brian Mays, just because
I would agree with that, just because with the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, it's just who he's associated with.
So that definitely gives him the edge in terms of popularity, but, I mean, casual fans will know both of them, and I think because Brian May has had probably more memorable solos, that Brian May wins this one. But I think overall, this is a pretty freaking close battle.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said that, popularity might be a kind of kind of a bar I look at to see who I think wins, but it's not the end all be all for me.
Yeah. So, but sounds like that we both pretty much agree Brian May wins this one. Though I can see this one being within a 10% margin of victory here.
I mean, I wouldn't really be upset if Keith Richards ends up pulling it out.
Yeah.
But I mean, in my opinion, Brian Mays wins this one.
Yeah, I agree. And it looks like we just had somebody join us. Tyler, you there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yo, what's up?
Oh, there you go.
What's up?
Now, whole time we're just discussing this little bracket we got here for my upcoming tournament on my reaction channel. How long you been here? I didn't even hear the alert for you coming on.
About 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I heard it. I heard it. Because it was in the middle while you were talking. That's why I heard it.
Wait, you trying to say I'm loud?
Yeah, you are.
No.
Shut
Well,
up.
no. Well, not the fact that you're loud, but when you're usually when you're talking, you try to drown out everything else around you. So you might not have been able to hear it because I mean I could barely hear the ping of him coming in.
That's because I got stealth mode engaged.
Well, your stealth
I
failed against
see-
me.
I see people popping in the voice chat in my Discord. I gotta hop in here and see what the hell's going on.
Yeah, no, we're just discussing our so on my reaction channel I got a fan vote tournament of best guitarist of all time going on there. So we're discussing the bracket and trying to predict who we think's gonna win. So far we think it's honestly we just got done with what, Keith Richards versus Brian May?
Yeah.
You're live
Ooh.
right now
Yeah.
Yeah.
on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even get the notification, dude.
Boo this man.
Well, it's on my reaction channel.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, that's why.
That's why.
I got the link in my whatchamacallit.
No,
A little late there, wifey.
I'm subscribed.
Oh no, she said yes, you are loud.
Did you make another channel?
Yes, Tyler did join. And to answer your question, Tyler, yes and no. So the reason I say yes and no is because my reaction channel originally started as my gaming channel. But then when I started doing a couple reactions, and then the reactions just blew up that channel, got it monetized. So rather than just having audience split and everything, of course it's
Hello?
funny.
I know, right?
So,
Nothing about the late callers. What are you doing?
watching Doc's live stream and talking to him.
Cooking tacos and drinking beer for dinner.
Okay.
By the way, I can hear him.
I like beer.
Yeah, we can too. Oh, to answer your question, Chrissy, I think I answered your question, but yes, it was Tyler who joined.
Yeah, you answered it.
I did. Okay, just want to make sure. Yeah, I think it's because of latency. Because it determines on how quality the stream is. I think with high latency, it makes the stream quality higher, but it delays the, I guess you say, the chat with the interaction. So if I wanted more real-time interaction with the chat, if I recall correctly, that would actually lower the quality of the stream. So yeah. Sucks,
Can't
but-
wait to get to the next one.
Oh boy. And you know what, I actually really feel bad about the next one because we already had to wish him a happy heavenly birthday, but I think so we got BB King versus George Harrison, and I think BB King takes this one.
Yeah, I think the thing is with BB King, the one thing that separates him from George Harrison is he has a distinct sound where people can mistaken that to be BB King, where George Harrison doesn't have that.
I thought my mic was muted. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Like, I'm sitting there talking to my brother-in-law, like, yeah, tacos and beer sounds good. I like beer. And then I was
Yeah.
like, I wonder if he knows
No.
we can still hear him.
well, no, it's not the fact that we could hear you; it's that we could hear him as well.
Well, I mean, my mic is directly above me, and then my
Yeah.
phone is sitting
So-
on my desk.
So it was like we were listening to the conversation. It was like,
Yeah.
that's why I was just like, that's why I said, oh, by the way, we can
We
hear
shall
you.
see.
Make sure.
So So, anyways, Tyler, since you're the new one in here, you got any input on this matchup?
Hold on, let me pull the bracket up.
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet.
Well, so right now we're discussing BB King versus George Harrison.
Where are we at? Oh, right here.
Yep. So BB King versus George Harrison. Actually, before I even asked for that, how many of these guitar players are you even familiar with?
Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So
Okay,
half.
so at least half the bracket. So at least we got at least he can probably give some sort of solid input on these matches on here.
Hey,
Yeah.
look! Don't look to me for input on guitarists. I like music, but I don't do research on these people. I just enjoy what they do. They are artistic.
Yeah.
No worries.
Well, and the crazy thing is, like, a couple of these people on here, like, I wasn't even that familiar with, but thankfully I had somebody who was smart enough to suggest that I do reaction videos to everybody that's in the tournament for people who haven't, heard these people, which actually really helped me out because it actually changed my mind on how I thought some of these matchups would go. Like, if you would have asked me, like, before I did these, if Mark Knopfler would have a good shot against Stevie Ray Vaughan, I would say you were out of your mind. But then I actually listened to his guitar playing, and I'm like, I did not know this man could play guitar like this. I still think Stevie Ray Vaughan wins, but it'll be a lot closer than I originally thought.
Yep.
So you know what? We're gonna be nice, and we'll go over the matches that me and Bobby have already talked about, and we'll see if Tyler wants to add anything on here. So we're going to start with match 1. And I have a feeling this is probably one where one of these guitarists you probably haven't heard of. Eric Clapton versus Robert Johnson.
Don't go back because of me. Don't let me hinder the what's the word I'm looking for? The forward motion of this tournament.
The forward motion of this tournament. Okay.
Well,
I'm spectating, I'm listening, and if I do have any feedback, I'll chime in.
Sounds good to me. That's fair enough. So, in that case, let us continue back with what we were talking about. We're on BB King and George Harrison. Actually, I don't think there really is much that either of us can add outside of what you did. Where with BB King, it's like you hear it and it's like it's BB King. It's like he's got his sound, whereas George Harrison doesn't have like a distinct sound. I feel like he's kind of like in the same boat with like Keith Richards. He's probably more well known because of his association with the Beatles.
Yeah, I'm about to say what's funny about this matchup is because George Harrison, I think, does win the popularity contest.
Oh, easy.
Just because of his association. But I mean, like I said, that might be part of what I look at, but it's not the end all be all. Because I
would say his popularity and his, like to the casual fan knowing who the Beatles are, I could see George Harrison making a match of this. But if you're going solely off guitar skill, guitar style, and everything like that, I give it to BB King.
Oh yeah.
So, I think we're good. With that. Now, this next match is probably going to be the closest. I would not be surprised if this one is decided by one vote. Carlos Santana versus Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. All right. So my criteria with this one, because it's like when it comes to popularity, I actually rate them equally because
easy.
People underestimate how popular Carlos Santana is.
I mean, and the thing is, it's kind of like what I was saying earlier with like Eddie Van Halen, where if somebody has you list like say your top 10 guitarists, Eddie Van Halen is probably somebody that instantly comes to mind. Carlos Santana and Jimi Hendrix are probably also not only people that easily come to mind, but they're probably one of the first 5 people that will come to mind.
Yeah, but and then when it comes to skill, I actually put them equal with an asterisk, and I'll get back to that in a minute.
Yeah, I'm very curious on that one because I would almost give skill like a very slight, and I mean like very slight, like I don't know if there is any substance in the world that is thin enough to describe the difference I would give in terms of skill. I would probably give that to Santana. But I'm very.
I'll put the asterisk on that. I'll get to that. Now, when it comes to memorable performance, this is where the tide changes. Jimi Hendrix got that for me.
Star Spangled Banner, Woodstock.
Not only that, but he had the Star Spangled Banner, and then just some of the wild stuff he would do, like when he set the guitar on fire.
Oh, what?
Like basically
that was the
summoned
Monterey
it.
Pop, wasn't it?
I believe so. And then, because I mean, not saying, like I said, not taking any credit away from Carlos Santana, but I mean, when you walked away from a concert with Jimi Hendrix, you're like, "Whoa! Did you just see what he did?" You know?
Yeah. See, and I think Jimi Hendrix was more, I guess you'd say, I don't know if revolutionary is the word, but I would say Jimi Hendrix probably. He was definitely probably more of an influence on future guitar players than Carlos Santana was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, this is nothing to take away from Carlos Santana, but I mean, now to get back to my asterisks,
Yes.
I would have given it to Carlos Santana, but there's something in my mind why I put an asterisk. Say they're the same level, put an asterisk. Is because Carlos Santana has had more time to perfect his art. Now, if Jimi Hendrix would have survived and been alive, you know, because he died at 27.
Yeah.
You can only imagine. You can only imagine what he would have done if he was still alive. That's why I
never thought about that. I never thought about that. What could Jimmy have done if he had been able to go on longer? You know, that is a really solid point. That's a very solid point.
That's why
the guitar on fire to set himself on fire.
well,
I don't know. I mean, maybe Michael Jackson still would have beat him to that one.
I know, right? Oh my God. But I mean, I think that's the thing.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. He set that up way too good. I couldn't let that slide.
Yeah, because I mean that's why I put the ashes there, because it's like he died at 27. So I mean, you can only imagine he would only have gotten better.
Right.
As time went on.
You know, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And it really would have. I would have loved to see like what he could have done had he been able to go on. That is a very interesting point I never once thought of. Wow.
That one. So this one, I actually give the edge to Jimi Hendrix, a slight edge to Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's a good one. And actually, and you know what? Now that I look at it, so that's the last match of this first round, I believe. Yeah, we hit everybody.
Yep.
Woo. Yeah, so that's going to be the closest one. Yeah, like I said, I think that one could easily be taken down to 1 vote. So just for craps and ha-has, so let's do this. So we'll go over the matches of the people who we... actually, we didn't even... Who do we project wins this one? We didn't project a winner on this one.
I did, but...
Well, yeah, you did. I think I'm still torn. I think... If I had to vote today, I think I would probably vote for Jimi Hendrix.
Well, like I said, that's just the couple of things that gets me. It's like I said, the fact of I think Jimi Hendrix was more renowned in a shorter period of time than Carlos Santana was.
Yeah.
And I mean, if he didn't pass away at 27, you know,
there's no telling what he could have done.
Yeah, and like I said, with Jimi Hendrix, he just has more memorable performances.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So I think I'll give this one to Jimi Hendrix.
I agree.
All right, folks. So we got our winners projected for round 1. So we think. So let's go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and just project our quarterfinal matchup. So for the first quarterfinal matchup, we'll have Eric Clapton versus Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, this one's not hard for me. That's Jimi Hendrix. That's Jimi Hendrix. That one's not hard for me.
I'm also in agreement there.
See, the crazy thing is, there's a part of me that kind of wants to go for Clapton,
Don't
do it.
But honestly, I think I might go with Jimmy here too. And I'll tell you what, if Eric was here, I guarantee you he'd probably vote for Eric Clapton.
Yeah,
I can see him. I can see him.
Smack him.
See, now, and here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. It's kind of like this is like one of those matchups, and I feel the same way with like Carlos Santana versus Jimi Hendrix, where it's like no matter which one moves forward, it's like, can you really be angry with it?
Well, I'll say this for this one, I might be a little baffled if Eric Clapton beat Jimi Hendrix, only for the simple fact of Eric Clapton's more known for his songs than his guitar skills, whereas Jimi Hendrix is more known for his guitar skills than his songs.
He's got a point.
Yeah, you know, I do kind of have to give you that one. I do have to give you that one.
You're not talking about the music. You're talking about the guitarists themselves.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's actually a very good point. That I do have to kind of give you that one. Because it's like you said, when people hear Jimi Hendrix, they don't really think about his music. They instantly think guitar. So, you know what? With that being said, I think you might have just swayed me, and I think I'd be voting for Jimmy over Eric Clapton on that one too.
Yeah. Now, I mean, if it was songs, yeah, I actually would have given it to Eric Clapton if it was just about singing.
Yeah, because
I would have given it to Eric Clapton.
Yeah. So.
But
yeah.
This is about guitarists. This is about guitarists. So
yeah, I think you swayed me on that one. So, and obviously Tyler agrees with that one. And like I said, with that point there, I have to agree with you. I think, yeah, Jimmy over Eric. Jimmy over Eric. Now this next one, this one kind of pains me a little bit. Prince versus Stevie Ray Vaughan.
I still would have to give it to Prince.
Yeah,
I would only give it. There's one advantage that I give the Prince over Stevie Ray Vaughan. Prince, I would say, is more well-rounded. Like Stevie Ray Vaughan is primarily probably known for his blues guitar, whereas Prince, he can do like rock, blues, funk. Like he's all over the place.
And he's stylish.
I mean, yeah. Well, I think the thing that gets
what is it they say about Prince? He's the only man that can wear lipstick and high heels and still steal your woman.
Yeah.
That's true.
But I think with Prince, it's just the memorable moments factor for me for Prince. He just has more. I think he has more memorable moments than Stevie Ray Vaughan.
You see, like for me, it's like true now with Stevie Ray Vaughan. I think that kind of goes into the whole thing. Like maybe had he lived longer, he might have had a chance.
Yeah,
but
well,
but for me, it's just Prince is more of a well-rounded guitarist, whereas Stevie Ray Vaughan, while is fantastic, probably one of the best blues guitarists ever. That's just it. It's like that's his primary thing. Whereas Prince could do blues, he can do acoustic sets, he can do rock, he can do funk. It's like whatever genre there is to be done, Prince was able to do.
Well, I think another X factor we got to look at, since they both passed away, is the impact of when they passed away, because you didn't really hear much. I mean, you've heard like in the news that Stevie Ray Vaughan passed away, but that was it.
I mean, how old were we when he died? Though?
Yeah, but what I'm saying, when Prince passed away, like the NBA was playing nothing but Prince music. Freaking MTV VH1 were doing nothing but playing Prince music videos.
And MTV don't play music anymore.
No,
shoot.
They went away.
So I mean, just like the impact of Prince's death as well. It's just like, it's like, man, if this man passes away and with a channel which is weird, is called MTV Music TV, that normally doesn't play music videos starts playing his music videos 24, like a 24-hour loop.
It's like
It's
MTV went back to being MTV.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it took Prince dying for that to happen. So, but you know, the crazy thing is, it's like the same thing happened when Michael Jackson died.
Oh yeah.
It's like I remember that, and I remember seeing like music videos on MTV. I'm like, they still play music videos?
No, I know. I mean, they might as well just at this point. I mean, definitely off topic, but it's like at this point, MTV just needs to change the name of their channel.
Agreed. Agreed. I blame Real World.
No comment.
Well, I mean, if it wasn't for Real World, we wouldn't have The Miz.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. So, okay, so it sounds like everybody would probably be in agreement that Prince would beat out Stevie Ray Vaughan,
Yeah.
which then would make for a very epic semifinal match. Jimi Hendrix versus Prince.
This one.
That's rough.
Oh,
This one.
Oh God, I hope that I'm not gonna lie. I hope this happens. I mean, there's almost a part of me that wishes that Prince was seated to the other side of the bracket, because I feel like this could easily be. It's kind of like how people were talking about like the NFC Championship game might have been like the actual championship game, because that's where you got the really two best teams. You know,
Yeah.
like this feels like that, where it's like, really, if you had a number 1 to number 2, this could be it. Jimi Hendrix versus Prince.
I mean, this one. I think this would be the hardest one.
Oh man, I don't even know if I want to give a prediction on this one, because I have a feeling that I'm gonna get hounded by either side on this one. It's like, how do you choose? So, somebody give me a coin. I need a coin.
You know what?
I'll flip a coin for this.
You know what?
one.
You know what?
You're
I
just gonna
think
give it a chance?
I think I will give my prediction on this one. You ready to hear my prediction?
I think I am. I think I am. The question is, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay. Who do you think?
I think Prince. Because the simple fact, like I said, yes, it sucks that Jimi Hendrix died at a young age, so we don't know. But it's like when you look at the way they treat music, one treated it like, just kind of like, it felt like he treated it more of like a party zone, which is Jimi Hendrix, where Prince treated it like an artist, like
art.
Yeah.
And I think that goes to that well-roundedness again, where Jimi Hendrix was primarily a rock guitarist. No, he had some blues in there too. I can't say he was primarily rock, because Jimi Hendrix had some good blues riffs too. I mean, you listen to, both of his Voodoo Child songs, and some of his slower ballad stuff. Jimmy had some nice tame guitar solos in there, so I can't really say he wasn't well-rounded. But again, compared to Prince, who, again, you just name any genre of music that any style of guitar could be played with, Prince could do that genre. Whereas I think Jimi Hendrix, now granted, maybe if he would have lived longer and had more of a chance to improve his craft, he could have been in that same boat, but unfortunately we don't know, and we can't really go off what ifs. Prince, we know, did it.
Well, the thing is like, that's why the what if he survived doesn't really work as well with him and Prince. Like the only reason it worked well with him and Carlos Santana was because Carlos Santana is one of those weird cases where he's popular, but not many people really know about him. Where Prince is popular and a crap ton of people know about him.
Yeah, and it's weird that you say it like that, because that almost sounds like it doesn't make sense, but I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah, because I mean, like, honestly, the first time I've heard of Carlos Santana was when him and Rob Thomas did this song. That was the first time I ever heard of Carlos
Now,
Santana.
I'll say this. That wasn't the first time I heard of him, but that was the first time I heard him. Like, I knew who Santana was before that song, but I'd never heard him. But after he did that song Smooth, that was the first time I heard him.
Yeah, that's why I said that's what makes it so weird. Is because like he's definitely known, but he's like not. It's just like one of those things where you're seen but not saw kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like, whereas Prince is like I said, his popularity matches, you know, like how many people actually know him. So
yeah,
that
I get you.
Like that whole case of the whole what if, you know, Jimi Hendrix lived, that works against Carlos Santana, but it doesn't work against Prince.
Yeah, I can see that. So I'm curious because, I mean, granted, we all have established that I'm loud, so I might have been talking over him the whole time, not realized it. But Tyler, you've been incredibly silent this go around. Who do you think wins between Prince and Jimi Hendrix?
I don't want to comment on it.
He doesn't want to go. And you know what? The sad thing is that is probably the smartest course of action to take on this one.
That's why I'm not saying a damn word.
Oh boy. Ooh man. Ooh.
I'm
just the point that I just don't care if people don't agree with me. Okay, they don't agree with me.
I'm gonna say this though. I'll say this one though. Between Jimi Hendrix and Prince, whoever wins this battle, if this turns out to be the semifinal, my prediction is whoever wins this one ends up winning the whole thing.
I agree.
Does Tyler at least agree with that sentiment?
Still no comment. I plead the fifth.
He pleads the fifth. Okay, so I'm going to hold my thoughts on it until we get to this other semifinal battle. So let's go to the other side of the bracket here. So for the first quarterfinal there, we got Jimmy Page versus BB King. That's actually a very interesting matchup.
I think for me, I think I go with BB King.
See, now here's my thought.
But
I personally would vote for BB King, but I think Jimmy Page wins this. Because I think Jimmy Page is more well known, and I think this goes more to the casual fan. More people probably know Jimmy Page than they know BB King.
Yeah, I can see that. But I mean with me,
I personally would vote for BB King, but I think Jimmy Page wins this one.
I think with me, what helps BB King out was he might have been in the band, but he was the main focal point of the band.
You talking about BB King?
Yeah.
Well, and again, it's like you said earlier, you know, it's like you hear the guitar and it's like, you know, it's BB King. But I think another thing, and someone actually made a good point on this in my Stevie Ray Vaughan reaction, is it seems like when it comes to guitar skill, a lot of blues guitarists really don't get a whole lot of love because there's, you know, like their guitar playing isn't exactly what you think of when you hear, or when you think of like great guitarists, great guitar solos or anything like that.
Yeah.
So they might not get a whole lot of love, but it's like, I remember when BB King died, and this was actually the very first meme I ever made. So you know that one where it's, I think it's that character from Lord of the Memes where they always start off, where the meme always start off with like, you know, one does not just simply do whatever type meme. You know that meme?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that was the first one I ever did. It's like one does not simply just listen to BB King. It's like when you're listening and really listening to BB King, it is like whatever he is singing or playing, it's like you are in it. You are feeling what that man is doing and playing and conveying.
Well, here's the thing, I think, why I give the edge And why I actually would think I wouldn't be surprised if he actually beat Jimmy Page. One simple factor. I think BB King transcended blues. Like
I
he
agree.
was
I full-heartedly
he
agree.
he like because like with other people on this list, it's like it's like yeah, they're great guitarists, but they didn't really transcend that genre like BB King transcended blues.
I full-heartedly agree. And this is probably kind of like one of those pick-em matchups where it's like it's like really, if you're really being serious, you could see either one going. But I just give the edge to Jimmy Page because of the casual fans, and I think that's what's going to push him through.
Yeah, that's probably what's gonna the casual fans. But I
So
mean, you never know. Some casual fans might not know who Jimmy Page is. You know.
that is true. I mean, that is true. Now, if you said Led Zeppelin or something, that might be a whole nother story. But I mean, it's kind of like most people. There might be some people. It's like Mark Knopfler. It's like, well, who the heck is he? And then you hear Dire Straits. It's like, oh, okay. It's like you know Dire Straits. You just don't know the names of the people there. Well, perfect example you had earlier. It's like you just kind of had a brain lapse on Brian May, but then as soon as I mentioned Queen, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know?
because I mean, with Queen, it's like your person you really know is Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like it's not like I don't know Brian Mays. It's just I knew him. I just don't remember
You
his
think
name.
Freddie, when you hear Queen, you think Freddie Mercury. You don't think Brian May.
Yeah. And no, that was Def Leppard. That had the one-armed drummer,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, Jimmy Page is lucky on that part.
I'll say this: if Jimmy Page was a one-handed guitar player and did the stuff he did, I'm like, just forget everybody else on this. You win.
Win by default.
Yeah, that's kind of like you just aren't in this tournament because that's just unfair.
Or at the very least, he gets a straight ticket to the finals.
Kind of like Daniel LaRusso did in Karate Kid 3.
Yeah.
Which apparently Johnny Lawrence was not happy with when he learned that in Cobra Kai.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's the thing with me is just like for some reason I feel like casual fans would know the name BB King than Jimmy Page.
That's true, but now here's the thing. And I kind of go like with how I felt with Santana. You know the name. Do you know the work?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure like maybe, anybody going through this knows who BB King is, knows that he's probably considered one of the greatest, blues musicians of all time. That doesn't necessarily mean they've heard him before.
Or they might have heard him, but just not realized that was him.
Right. I mean, good Lord. I mean, how many times has that happened to us? Kind of like with George Harrison. Like, you remember the song he had, what is it, Got My Mind Set on You? It's like we've heard that song so many times, but we were like, what, teenagers before we realized who that was?
What was that one song? It was actually a different song George Harrison did that I had that moment where it's like I heard it tons of times, but then once I found out it was him, I was like, whoa, that was George Harrison?
You don't remember which one it was? See, for me, I know it was that song, Got My Mind Set on You.
No, I knew that was George Harrison because when I first saw that music video, it said George Harrison on there. The thing is, I just didn't know George Harrison was part of the Beatles when I saw it.
Okay, yeah.
But it was more on the soft side. It was like trying to remember what the name of that song is.
I don't know if anybody is watching the replay of this, if you can name some George Harrison ballads or something like that, just name them off, and maybe that will splash our memories. Because I'm drawing a blank too.
Hold on a second.
Oh, he's looking it up now.
Google is your friend.
I mean, technically, yes. Google is my friend. Google pays me every time I make $100. So, wait.
My sweet lord. That's the name of the song.
Oh. You didn't know that was him?
No. It took me a while to figure out that was him.
See, I remember the first time I heard that song, it's like I suspected it was him, but I'm like, that feels like that's kind of too high for his voice. But it's like I kind of suspected. So I guess me and you, it's like we had the same thing happen, just with different songs. It's like the one song I didn't realize was George Harrison, you did, but then the one song you didn't realize was George Harrison, I knew it was him.
Well, no, you suspected it was him.
Okay, well, I'm sticking with you.
There's a difference between, because you can suspect all you want. That doesn't mean you knew. That just gives you a free way to, if you find out it's him, it's like, oh, I knew all along. You know?
That's fair. Speaking of,
it's like a trivia. It's like a trivia. It's like if you said, I suspect it's this, and the answer happened to be wrong, then you could be like, well, I just suspected. I didn't say that was my answer.
That's fair. I'll give you that one. You win. All right, so for that matchup, though, I say, again, it's the thing where I personally would vote for BB King, but I think Jimmy Page moves on.
I mean, this one's a coin toss. This one's actually the coin toss for me. Because I think it just depends on the voter. Because, like I said, if you look at the body of work, if they look at the body of work, they probably give the edge to BB King. But if they go for popularity / association, Jimmy Page would probably get it. Because, like you said, Led Zeppelin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because just this association with Led Zeppelin, propels them up.
And I think that's what does it for him. I really think that's what does it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it all depends on what the voters look at. Like, if people decide to go and listen to BB King, and I think he would actually have a good chance. But if they just go off of popularity / association, then I think Jimmy Page would get it.
Yeah.
But me personally, I would go with BB King.
Same.
Because, like I said, I think the biggest thing for me is the fact that BB King transcended his genre.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I know a few people that you say BB King, they don't realize he actually was a blues player. They just know him as BB King.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, we gotta have a winner. So who do you think takes it?
You know what?
You're gonna flip a coin, aren't you?
No, I'm gonna go with my heart instead of my head. I'm gonna say BB King.
All right, I think that's the first one where we've actually had differing answers on that one. So just to make it fun, when we do the semifinals, we'll do semifinals for either one. Because, I mean, honestly, it could be a coin flip, to be honest. I don't know. You got a comment, Tyler?
Negative.
You notice how we're getting near the end, how he's wanting to stay silent on this, because he realizes what will happen if he gives an unpopular answer. Like, as if he's going to be the one to deal with it. I'm the one that's going to have to deal with it, so voice your opinion.
I'm good.
Oh no, there might be people in the comments talking crap about one of us.
They might be talking crap about one of you, but you aren't going to see it unless you look on my comments. So
I'm looking at it right now, and I don't see anything about me.
Give it time.
Yeah, give it time for the replay to show up. All right, so next quarterfinal match on this one: Eddie Van Halen versus Brian May.
Van Halen.
I'm gonna have to go with Van Halen.
I'm going with that too. Only and like now this is another one where I personally think Brian May is a little better, but Eddie Van Halen I think is more transcendent.
Well, I think with I think Brian May is a little better, but I mean, it's such a small margin that like.
Well, and here's the thing, and I think you actually hit on this earlier. Like, let's look at the bands. So with Van Halen, it's Van Halen. He's not even the vocalist, and he's the main focus of the band. Now, granted, I would say their era with David Lee Roth was probably their best period. Like, that was when they were probably the most fun to listen to. But, I mean, it was like, no matter what vocalist he had, Van Halen was like the one you thought of. Whereas with Brian May, it's like, you said it perfectly. It's like, you hear Queen, you think Freddie Mercury, you don't think Brian May.
Yeah.
And that is why I give the edge to Van Halen on this one.
Yep.
Because it's like, there's just, I mean, even though some people might think, David Lee Roth with the vocals, it's Van Halen is the main focal point. So I say Van Halen wins this one. Not easy though. I think this will be a good match, but I think Van Halen moves on to the semifinals on this one.
You know what? I will say I think it's a larger margin than you think, but I don't think it's a large margin.
Well, we'll see by the time we get there, but then again, I say that as if this is what it's going to be.
Shoot. As far as we know, it could have been Keith Richards moving on.
Exactly. I tell you what. and that's the reason why after round one ends, depending on what weekend that is, if it's the weekend I have the kids, I will still do a live stream to discuss the results of round one and then go on round two, kind of like what we're doing here. The only thing that might change would be the time, but it depends on if I have the kids that weekend or not. But either which way, I mean, yeah. But as of right now, we'll say it's Brian May and Van Halen, and I say Van Halen moves on. And I heard Tyler say Van Halen easy, so that's a 3 for 3 right there. So for semifinal possibility number 1, Jimmy Page versus Van Halen. I say Van Halen wins that one.
Because I mean, it's just like the last thing you said. When you think of Van Halen, you think of Eddie Van Halen. He's the centerpiece of it.
Yeah.
Where Jimmy Page is part of not Def Leppard, but Led Zeppelin, and you don't really, you don't. For some reason, I always get those two names mixed up. It's like I might know what I'm talking about, but other people won't know what I'm talking about.
It's the exact same number of syllables. So Def Leppard, Led Zeppelin. So, but you're forgiven.
You don't think of Led Zeppelin when you don't think of Jimmy Page when you think of Led Zeppelin.
Some people might, but then again, another person they might think of, Robert Plant, is probably, just as easily associated.
Well, I'm saying like hardcore fans would think of that, but if you think of like casual, when it comes to bands, the person that casuals really gravitate towards is the singer.
Unless you're Van Halen.
Yeah, unless you're Van Halen.
Or unless you're Prince, where you happen to be both guitarist and lead singer.
I know, right? Okay, so what?
So
the next part would be.
So I think it's pretty safe to say, if Jimmy Page is first semifinalist, Eddie Van Halen wins that one.
Yeah.
What say you, Tyler?
I'm in agreement.
He did. Oh, okay. Right. I'm about to say he did.
All right. So possibility number 2, if people follow Bobby's way and vote for their heart, BB King versus Eddie Van Halen. As weird as this sounds, I think this would be the better matchup.
I think so too.
Because because the one thing that we gave Eddie Van Halen the edge to over Jimmy Page, I think he loses that edge against BB King, because BB King would fall in the same category. You know, I mean, it's not like he's a part of a band. It's BB King and whoever happens to be playing with him.
No, I'm about to say it's not the fact that BB King is part of the band. It's the fact that BB King is the band.
So it's like that. So it's like I said, it's like that advantage leaves Van Halen. And this is the one where I think it goes into where I think rock guitarists probably get more love than blues guitarists. I still say, while I would totally vote for BB King, I say Van Halen wins.
In this case, I think if it was down to these two, I think I would have to go with Van Halen, because I mean it's the fact of it's still the fact that he's still, I think, more known than Jimmy Page. So that, you know, that helps Van Halen out more than like when it was BB King and Jimmy Page.
Mm-hmm.
Van Halen, I think Eddie Van Halen's more well known. Because I mean, the band name's Van Halen. All you have to do is just put Eddie in front of it, you know.
True, yeah.
So
But,
I mean,
I think it's safe to say Van Halen wins this one, though.
I agree
Now,
with that one.
I think that between Jimmy Page and BB King, though, I think BB King would make it a closer match. But again, I think that rock guitarists just tend to get a little more love than blues guitarists. So I give it to Van Halen.
Yeah, I give it to Van Halen.
All right, so I know that I said from the last semifinal match that whoever won that one would win the whole thing, and I'm starting to understand why Tyler was signing on that one, because I think we ended up with Prince being the first finalist. So we would have right now, if everything goes the way we're projecting, we're having Prince versus Eddie Van Halen in the finals. Who wins that?
Do 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 do.
I think this is one where we just need to just.
I mean,
see, the problem is, it's like,
like,
it's like every time one person makes an argument, it could easily sway you. I think this one. I think what determines this one is really how many more diehard fans come on.
I think, yeah. I mean, honestly, I think.
I mean,
Like,
I don't even know who I would vote for, to be honest.
I know who I would vote for.
See, I'd like to think that I would know, but the problem is like I could sit and listen to, you know, one person argue Eddie Van Halen. I'm like, okay, I go him. Then I hear someone argue for Prince. I'm like, okay, that goes. But then I hear another argument for Van Halen. It's like, okay, it's like I don't think I could solidly vote on this one, and that is one reason why I'm glad I'm not a voter in this tournament.
Yeah, well, that's why I say, like, that's why I have like different categories for, you know, each person. But if I had to make a decision right now, I'm like, not even right now, but I would vote for Prince. Because like I said, it's like, you know, skill level, Prince is just more well-rounded.
Well, okay,
You know-
I was about to say, in terms of well-rounded, I'll give you that, but in terms of like guitar playing skill in general, I would put them equal. However, I feel like Prince covers more genres than Van Halen does, but
Yeah,
jeez,
well, like, and then like I said, another thing though is like memorable moments, and Prince, I think, has that over Eddie Van Halen.
well, he has that just about over everybody, though. I mean, when it's I take that back.
I mean,
back.
Jimi Hendrix. Besides Jimi Hendrix,
Yeah, I mean, Jimi Hendrix had some memorable ones, but Prince definitely, I would say, had more memorable ones. But I'm gonna say, in terms of guitarists, you know, because you could probably think of like other artists who have had probably just as memorable moments. But if we're talking just straight guitarists, Prince probably takes the cake on that one.
oh yeah.
Oh man, that's a hard battle. What do you think, Tyler? Or he's probably staying silent on this one. I don't blame him.
Got that right.
well, and then like I said, it comes to that's why like I say like when it comes to popularity, also, it's like I got to give it to Prince for popularity.
The crazy thing is like this song right here almost feels like it's asking a parent to pick their favorite kid.
I mean, depending on the kid, that might not be a hard choice.
Oh my goodness! Wow. I guess technically you're not wrong. You know, I'm staying out of this one. I got two kids, and if they catch this, they're gonna ask me which one's my favorite. And you know they would too.
Oh, I know they would. But I mean, like I said, for me,
honestly though, I think if I had absolutely no choice and had to vote for one, I might go with Prince. I would probably go with Prince. And that one is probably more of a personal decision because Prince was one of the people that made me want to play guitar. So
and I think that's another thing that we didn't need to consider too, is how the influence of other people.
Right.
Because
I think that's why Jimi Hendrix and Prince was hard on me, because Jimi Hendrix, is always listed as an influence, for Prince. So in a way, it's almost kind of like putting teacher against student in that one,
Yeah. Yeah, because when it comes down to these two, it's like, how many people have you heard say, "Oh, I wanted to play guitar because of Eddie Van Halen"?
I'm sure Tyler even in that group if he played.
I'm sure there's some people out there, but there's going to be a lot more people that are going to want to play guitar because of Prince. And I think the thing too is like he was, I think something that people don't understand or actually remember is I forget what it was, but he was doing an interview and I guess he turned down somebody and he's like, for something, I forget, and they asked him why. He's like, because he's like, I want them to go out and and learn to play instruments and stuff. So he was really one of those people that would like encourage people to go out and
Yeah, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. It was because he didn't want any of his stuff used in any of the Guitar Hero games.
Oh yeah,
I remember that. I remember hearing that because I was always like, oh, that'd be so cool. And I remember hearing that story. I don't think I heard about it until after he died, but I heard him say that, I forget exactly what it was he said, but he's like, if anyone's going to play my stuff, I want them to do it on a real guitar.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what you said. It's like Prince really treated it like an art. It's like, it was like his baby. So.
Yeah.
So but yeah, if I had the vote on that, I would say Prince. So as of right now, if things go the way we projected, Prince wins this tournament. But you, the people, will have full say in this. As far as we know, it could be Neil Young versus Pete Townsend in the finals. If that happens, good Lord Almighty, I'm done trying to predict these.
Oh
things.
my God! You know what? I would laugh about
what
if the finals ended up being Robert Johnson versus BB King.
That would be brutal.
That would be wild. I don't see it. I don't see it happening that way, but if it did, that would be wild.
See, that finals would be a finals I could see if I was doing a tournament on most influential blues musician. Like, I could easily see that being a finals matchup. But that would be a hard one to do. And that's another reason, like, I was talking about like teacher versus student. Like, I think people, like with Robert Johnson kind of underestimate kind of like how much of an influence he had even on blues.
Yeah.
If you look at it, Eric Clapton covered one of his songs.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said that's kind of the biggest disadvantage of Robert Johnson was
no one really knows him.
Yeah, and like the people that know him know him only because either A, Eric Clapton covered him, or B, because they watched Crossroads.
Yeah. And and it's like, think about the song, like another Robert Johnson song that most people probably know. I bet you they only know it probably from the Blues Brothers cover of it, Sweet Home Chicago.
Oh yeah.
How many people know that's a Robert Johnson song?
I mean, not many
Very
people.
I mean, I didn't even know it until I got that Robert Johnson CD that had like all of his songs, and I saw the name. I'm like, is that the same song? And I listened to it. I'm like, well, naturally it was done in like 36, I think. So yeah, it's gonna sound different than compared to like 80 something. But I was like, wow, who I never would have guessed. Never would have guessed.
Now here's a question, a hypothetical question. If you had to take anyone off the list and add and substitute them with anybody, who would it be?
Oh.
Are you sticking to a specific era
No.
What?
for guitarists?
No.
No, just a guitarist. Just a guitarist. As long as they're known for playing the guitar.
Now, here's the thing. In terms of who I would take out, for me, Neil Young. Who I would replace him with, I don't know.
That's a hard decision to make.
Yep, I mean,
because
with
there's
me,
still so many to choose from. I mean, the
With
first
me-
person that came to my head was Herman Lee from Dragon Force. The only problem I have with Dragon Force is I've heard some of their live stuff, and it's not as good as their studio recordings. I think it's just because they're known for just playing so fast, but it's like, how many takes does it take to get it to where it's got that final sound? And it's probably really hard to replicate live. However, another guitarist, and this one is, I could split either way, but it's a Japanese rock band called Love Bites. And either one of those two guitarists, either Miyoko or Midori, I would probably put in over Neil Young.
Yeah. Well, I think
K-pop.
no,
Say what?
That's J-pop, not K-pop. He says sounds like a K-pop.
Well,
trust
I mean,
me, I listen.
They're
I
like
listen.
Japanese
I
metal.
listen to K-pop.
Yeah, Love Bites is Japanese metal.
I listen.
What?
To K-pop. Well, I know.
Yeah. Okay, I can't
But,
really call it Japanese metal because the singer actually sings. Usually with metal, there's probably more screaming involved.
Yeah, but for me, I'm in agreement with you with taking out Neil Young, and the person I would actually put in is Nita Strauss.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I would probably even go with you on that one. Ooh, that's a good one.
Because I mean, it still obligates the first name starts with N.
Yeah. And actually, what I think I might do is
you know what did it for me though. You know what did it for me, Mike, don't you?
Yeah, I know what.
Why I would put her on.
Yep, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yep, WrestleMania. That was just right. Awesome.
I think you shared that just like a few hours ago on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw that. I'm like, he's up. He'll probably be on. Ooh, that is a good call though. And you know what I might actually do, which is actually interesting, because looking at this list, I could probably. Now, granted, I am gonna probably give it some space, but what I will probably do is I'll probably do another tournament. I am not going to do 16 again, because trying to do 16 reaction videos in a timely manner is really hard to do. So I'll probably stick with a 8-person tournament, but maybe I'll do a top female guitarist.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm going to be honest. I don't know that many female guitarists.
I think you might know more than you think.
No, I mean, like I'm saying, like off the top of my head.
I mean, off the top of my head. Well, granted, thanks to you, I can name 5. And we've already talked about we've already talked about 4 of them.
I can't count that high.
Yeah. So like let's go with the 5 that come to my head right away. So I was talking about the 2 guitarists from Love Bites, Miyoko and Midori. You got Nita Strauss. Now the other 2 I'm thinking of is I don't remember how to pronounce her name. It's like Orathani or something like that. She was the female guitarist from Michael Jackson's This Is It. I would throw her in there. And then Wendy from, Revolution.
Oh yeah.
So there's 5 there. Now, granted, I will say it's going to be harder to probably do, but really all I have to do is just try to find 3 more.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think. Well, at least for this list, I don't think 16 was bad at all.
I mean, here's the thing. I think 16 is a good number to do, but because
I think what it's going to be, I think it's going to depend on the subject matter.
Yeah. See, I think 8 would probably be a good one to do for like female guitarists, but the thing that I'm just considering with is just trying to do reactions to all of them and try to do it in a timely manner. And trying to do, a reaction a day on top of trying to do gaming stuff on there, that is just too much time, too much work when you're doing it all by yourself.
Oh, I bet.
Been gaming too much lately.
Because I'm trying to do like gaming live streams every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm getting ready to go back into doing my Navy Doc 5184 plays where I have a specific game I do on Tuesdays, which right now looks like it's going to be a Final Fantasy VII Remake, so we know that's going to be time consuming.
Oh, it sure is. It sure is.
There goes about 80 hours of your life.
But then on top of, I've still got to finish doing, Halo for my current live stream series, but every now and then I do Dead by Daylight, and we know how much time can pass with that.
Oh,
yeah. So, but with that female guitarist one, I'm going to keep that one in the back of my mind. But I definitely probably want to do this, so. But anyhow, so let's see. So we've already discussed, so we think Prince is going to win. But as I was saying, to you lovely people out there watching this, in the end, it's all up to you. Voting starts 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. Well, yeah, tomorrow morning. So first matchup is going to be Eric Clapton versus Robert Johnson. So make sure you check my community post for that one. Bobby, Tyler, I thank you guys for stopping by and giving your input on this.
No problem.
Not that my input was relevant.
Hey, but your presence was appreciated. And besides,
well, thank you.
I would say after this first round, we'll probably be able to get a lot more input. And you got the bracket, so you can always go through and look up some of these people. Because you never know, yeah, maybe your mind will change once you hear some of them.
Yeah, I mean that would probably be the thing I would suggest. Is like, you don't have to do this, but it's like I would suggest you actually look up when you see the matchup, look up each artist to see which one you think is actually better.
Yeah,
because like I said, popularity is fine. That's part of one of my criterias, but it's like it's not the end all be all for me.
No.
Yeah.
Because I just think like the straight up popularity is just cheap.
Yeah. So as of right now, so this is what we're looking at schedule wise. So the last match of the first round starts on March 12th. So I would probably be looking at March 18th of doing another live stream to discuss round 1 and probably give our predictions for round 2, which obviously will not last as long since, well, actually it might last as long because we're going to be talking about the matches that took place, but then trying to guess. I don't foresee too much going off what we predicted the first round. I think the first round will pretty be easy, but again, people have shocked me before. I've seen some matches that were a lot closer than I expected. But I mean, the person I expected to win did win, but it was a lot closer than I thought. So I don't know. You never know. I mean, maybe, again, it's just how many fans come out. Maybe more Santana fans will come out and knock Jimi Hendrix out in the first round.
Yep.
But
I'll tell you what,
like you said, if somehow Robert Johnson and BB King made the finals, that would be amazing. I'm not even gonna lie, that would be amazing.
I mean, I'd be like, dang. It's like, well, what can I say about this one?
No comment.
All right, my lovely people. Well, thank y'all for stopping by. I hope y'all enjoyed the stream. Sorry if you missed it, but definitely feel free to leave your thoughts on who you think's gonna win each matchup, or who you think's gonna win the whole thing. Right now, we think it might end up being Prince winning the whole thing, but we'll see if you guys do anything to derail that plan. But in the meantime, y'all stay safe, and I'll catch y'all down the road.